Celtics win. How great was that finish, by the way, in regulation? I said when it happened, overtime as the result of great shot making is 100 times better than overtime as the result of equal failure. At the end of games, right? When neither team can either get a good shot off.
At least.
Right, right.
The one for the Bucks, though, or I should say for the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, who is a terrific defensive player, I don't know what he was thinking when Middleton got that three.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
That one, left him.
That was mind-boggling. And I'm like, first of all, the only thing you worried about is a three.
Right.
And he's the best three-point shooter out there.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm worried about if somebody else got it, I get it, but not that guy. I didn't understand that play.
It's funny. I think Rozier's crossover, if he had a great big beard, would be a meme that everyone would go to. It'd be the most watched meme, actually.
Yeah.
It was very, very similar to the Harden moment earlier this year, where I forget who Harden made trip.
Wesley
Wesley Johnson falls
Wesley
down, and he actually takes the big, long gather and looks at him.
Yep.
Rozier had that much time. It was a remarkable move he made.
Eric Bledsoe still hasn't gotten into that play.
Yeah.
Still hasn't.
Remarkable play.
There was a lot going on there at the end of the game, and some incredibly long free throw taking by Giannis Antetokounmpo. In fact, the league's last 2-minute report identified 3 instances in the final 2 minutes in overtime in which Giannis took longer than 10 seconds to shoot free throws and should have been called for violations. This is really interesting, harkening back to the Karl Malone days when this became a topic of conversation. Everyone was timing him. You would see clocks on the screen.
He was timing himself.
What do you make of this? Are we going to see this tonight, that he's going to have to speed it up? I mean, he's on notice.
Those officials want to work the second round. I guarantee you, if that happens again, he's going to be penalized.
I would imagine it'll be subtle. I don't think they'll make a big deal about it, but they'll let him know. But having watched those Karl Malone teams and watched Karl get to the point where he was 17, 18, 19 seconds into it and nothing changed, you get to do that when you're Karl Malone. I think the freak will probably get a little bit of leeway. But if it's already become a point of emphasis, it's something that will certainly be mentioned to him.
Well, and then it becomes a factor with his routine, right? I mean, everybody has their routine. His routine just takes too long.
Well, I think that may be true, but I also think in the playoffs there was a little more pressure there. He was trying to go through the process of slowing his heart rate down a little bit, sort of get back into the moment. In the regular season, he didn't do that. If you go back and look, his normal routine doesn't require 12, 13 seconds. I think the magnitude of the moment showed itself there a little bit.
And he did go 1 for 3 on the 3 times he did it.
It's true.
So speed it up.
Yeah, it wasn't working that well.
All that after a postseason career-high 35 points in that game. Chris Middleton hit that game-tying buzzer-beating 3 on his way to 31. First pair of Bucks teammates to each score 30 since the 1970s. But, guys, Milwaukee also turned over 20 times, which Boston converted into 27 points. How important is it for them to clean up that particular number tonight?
I don't care who you are. You turn it over 20 times on the road, that's a recipe for a defeat. And that's going to have to be taken care of. And listen, it was by committee because every starter turned it over, 4 of them at least 3 times. And that can't be the case tonight against the Boston team. Now, I will also say, in defense of Milwaukee, and you talked about this, Greg, that was the first playoff game. So a lot of times that's an unfamiliar environment. You don't know what you're going to get. Plus, in Boston's case, this is a depleted roster, so you don't even have a great feel for tendencies within who they are today. I think they're able now to make the adjustment and have a better feel. My concern from Milwaukee's standpoint is I'm a big believer in 50-50 games in the postseason. I always tell people, when teams get blown out, I always expect the team that got blown out to win the next game if they're comparable. But when you lose those 50-50 games, tonight's going to be a harder game to get, I think, for Milwaukee, because that's the one they should have got. You get that game in overtime, you got them reeling a little bit. You got to close the deal on that one, because I think Boston's going to be better prepared to close the game out if they get that opportunity tonight.
Yeah, I think if I was Milwaukee, I'd be concerned with the turnovers. I'd be more concerned with the fact that they only had 22 assists on 40 field goals. They didn't move the ball well to begin with, let alone the fact that the decisions they were making were leading to some tough turnovers, which were leading to breaks. That team needs to find a way to be more efficient offensively and to space the court around Giannis better. We talked about this a lot, Matt, when I was here with you at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Bellinelli and Ilyasova were great fits for them. Philly got both of them for nothing in the buyout period to space the floor for Simmons and Embiid. They really need more floor spacing shooting around Giannis to take advantage of the full bandwidth of what he does. And in the absence of that, they need to play through Middleton a little bit more, because Middleton has the ability to take and make big shots for them off the dribble, whereas Giannis will get to a shot off the dribble, and it's going to be more of a turnaround, fall-away type shot late in the shot clock. Middleton can just one dribble to a pull-up and rise over the defender.
Going back to even early in the season, I didn't think Eric Bledsoe was necessarily a great fit, upgrade in talent certainly, but not the kind of floor spacer that Milwaukee could have used.
You know, and I've said this, and look, Milwaukee has one of the best fan bases in the NBA, and I love them, but I do think they're a vastly overrated team. I don't think the makeup, and again, you just said something, Matt, that's right on point, and it ties into what Griff's talking about. They play an antiquated style of basketball. They don't move the ball. They don't space it. They don't have guys who are comfortable playing without it. And that's one reason why that's one reason why they struggle. Like, sometimes the better passers get fewer assists because you're setting plays up with your passing. They don't do that. Their ball movement does it. They allow you to defend them, because they don't make you think from a defensive standpoint. That's why, from a philosophical standpoint, they're going to have to do some real looking internally in terms of who we want to be moving forward if they want to get this group to another level.
And obviously you have a huge offseason coming up with Joe Prunty, the interim coach. That has not been decided moving forward. John Wall, Wizards, looking to even things up tonight north of the border. Raptors fans will be ready for him. We're ready for the tip coming up.